back, and we're live in effect on a Monday morning. Basically, we're reviewing Night of the Creeps from 1980, which I thought was a unique film. Cinematography looked great, the acting was great, the actresses was great. They put that woman in that nude scene to see if that's what she really wanted to do. It was all a test, and she flew with flying colors. The demons, the monsters, and whatever, the melting face, burning faces, that whole sequence. Fan, Night of the Creeps. It's interesting. The fact that she's dating this jock type of dude, but this nerd likes her. And then she eventually learns to use a gun, and she eventually falls for the nerd. It was my first, time seeing a lot of these actors and actresses. So, if I could critique my best, I'd say it was an interesting film. I thoroughly enjoyed Night of the Creeps. Thoroughly. It had a unique story. Unique looking film. Great cast. Decent looking cinematography. Just a great overall movie from the 1980s. From the 80s. Nonetheless. This. But yeah, it's interesting. Significantly interesting.
Kyrie was jumped out of the WWE by Bailey. I thought that was well done. The intrigue there is awesome. And you said it a second ago. Kyrie shows up in her return, looks like a superstar. I get the feeling that under Vince McMahon, I had said this during the stream as well, it would have been a weird fact. There would have been a damage control backstage interview where Kyrie sort of wanders in. And then
the chemistry between
who's that?
the friend who's trying to help his friend with the female. Trying to get laid, basically.
She's not like the happy-go-lucky pirate. She is a killer. She showed up.
There's cinematography. I mean, it was great.
And just really great that she had today.
Great presence.
And yeah, it's like, whoa, how is this going to play out with Bailey? Are we going to get like a
great everything.
mixed turn for Bailey because she's clearly
I've also got a snippet
going to get jumped out at some point. I hope they're going to think where they know
for a song
where Bailey tries to play good, but we
I like to put out for you.
There's a lot of intrigue there that I think would be very interesting. Preceded her Kyrie's return was preceded by a mix up.
It kind of like
you accidentally lays out Bailey. So
introduces you to a little bit where I came from.
So yeah, I thought that was a really
where I grew up.
Moment there.
And
Logan Paul.
that's that.
Yeah, not Logan Woody, but
It's relatable.
Yeah.
Catchy.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know. That's a good one because again, you see these little clues after their United States Championship match.
My old house ain't even far from here.
Like Santos might have had some things to say to Rey Mysterio if they were jump on the street bumps. And
But
now
no,
this is where
growing up, we had a
Sammy
fire
some brass knucks seemingly away from Logan Paul, but then putting them back in
and
position
shit.
for him to get them, like you say, or like you asked, accident or no accident. Regardless, the finish was Logan Paul, while Rey
And a
Mysterio
lot of that is
splashed,
detailed in the
hits him with
song.
the right with the brass knucks,
So
gets the win at the end, says, hey, you know, fair is fair, I gotta do what I gotta do, and Rey's like, what, you just cheated to win, Logan Paul.
I am sure you guys
United States Championship
will feel the
I've
lyrics
talked about WWE's
whenever I put the snippet out.
pros and cons from a business perspective of Logan Paul.
You know what I mean?
Obviously, they won the title around the storyline reasons. You brought one, I think it's a good one. That the U.S. title, you would think, similar to the way that so Raw has two very, very heavily featured, consistently featured champions in their men's division, the Intercontinental Championship with
The water like dissolved and made the bowl sweeter. I think this song will take me far. The snippet at least. Called so basically about growing up on McMahon, my old address where I was staying before. It's basically why I made the song and named it that. Cause it's the story of my beginning, the story of my life. So it makes sense that, you know, I said, growing up on that McMahon, that's where I grew up at. I ain't forget about that. You know, it shaped me to what I am. It made me how I am. That's that. That's like Machine Gun Kelly in Cleveland. Young Boy in Louisiana. Fucking so many other inner towns and places or wherever they've grown up. Be exact. But I'm gonna post this song everywhere, and we'll see. I might put a feature on it in the future. I end up dropping it, releasing it eventually. I don't know yet though. I think I want to. No, I know I want to actually. That shit's pretty dope. Pretty dope song. Great song. If y'all haven't, you'll know. I mean, if you don't know, you're gonna know now because as soon as I drop it, y'all gonna fall for it. I added a nice 808 to it. Oh yeah. That shit busting. I think that's really what the main like chord is. The main setting is an 808. So, and I've been using them for the past 2 days, these 808 type of beats, because I fucks with them. Just like I found that variation. I found the type of beats that work best for me, you know. Music is just so much more than just this and that, you know. Just like with the promotion, I've gotten a lot better at that, as people could see when I promoted it. The last song I put out. Everywhere. So that's what it takes. You don't just do it half. You don't just somewhat put the work in. If you're gonna do something, put your full force into it until it's done. That's my philosophy on that. Like, if you got a task or a job or something you wanting to do, you do it to your fullest. And when that's done, you move on to the next. That's how the life works. What's the next best option for me? What can I do to contribute? What can I do to add on to what I've already done? What can I do to maximize that potential? What can I do to go up? What do I have to improve on, like, to become a full-fledged artist? What is something that's missing? I already found one missing ingredient, and that was that variation for my voice. Found that. The 808 beats, got that. And I think I slide on those. Like, with the McMahon song, I slid on it. Like, it brings out a confidence in me that, like, I don't really show a lot, but when I do, it's like, I guess, noticeable. But yeah, I slid on that 808 beat. It's basically me just telling the story. That's that. About how I live, how I grew up. And if y'all rock with it, y'all rock with it. Authenticness usually, like, is what, like, gravitates towards people. So I'm thinking it'll gravitate towards you guys. I'm just like back to back when I said I'm gonna start dropping back to back like 2018, because 2018 I had a little dropping marathon where I would drop non-stop music, and then I took a little break when I lost my stuff, my channel and all that. There was a time, I think that break and those breaks in between really, like, allowed me to, like, gravitate towards my sound and gravitate more and be more in sync with who I am, and the music shows a lot more because of it. I'm not saying I wasn't that way before with music, but I think a little more mainstream now with my music. A lot more mainstream, because a lot of what I was dropping back then don't sound the same now. I'd say I upgraded, I elevated in some ways, you know. Back then I was just talking about random shit. Now I talk about real life, whether it's tragedy, whether it's this and that. I mean, I've been doing that back then, but a lot of the stuff I was preaching back then, I gotta be honest, a lot of the shit I was saying back then, a lot of the shit I was rapping back then, wasn't always, like, coherent with what was going on for real. I'm gonna keep that a buck. But I've always been honest in my music, like, and I've always let you guys in within my music. Like, I haven't had one song where I've lied or capped about anything, and, like, I always, like, keep it real in my music and tell it how it is, and just, you know, put down a track that people love to hear and can relate to. That's mainly what my music's vividly focused around, you know. Back then I used to talk about crazy. I used to talk about New Year's resolution. I got that song out. That just talks about a new year, a New Year's resolution. We got damn, what else? We got We Don't Play, where I'm just talking about not playing around. We not playing around. Such and such, which came out like 5 years ago. My very first song when I dropped back on the YouTube, as far as from a YouTube standpoint, I was still in school at that point when I was dropping music simultaneously. So I've been grinding even back then, you know. I was subtly grinding even back then. I've been doing this music stuff for a while. It just hasn't blown up yet. Although back to back is getting quick views, like this song, I'm seeing quick results, and it's because of how I promoted it. How much, like, you gotta, in order for a song to go and get like any sort of like buzz, you gotta be willing to like sacrifice and fucking put the work in. If you're not sacrificing, if you're not putting the work in, and if you're lazy and if you're half-assing your music, you won't see any results. That's why I try my best, knowing I'm gonna drop something. When I gotta put it somewhere, even now, from now on, I'm gonna start having to tell myself, like, if you wanna really do this music shit, you gotta not half-ass it. You gotta post and promote everywhere, because that's what's gonna generate a buzz on all platforms. That's what's gonna catch your audience's attention. Me half-assing and promotion and shit like that, and me fucking only putting it a halfly on social media isn't gonna do much for that song and generating any buzz. Not only now, but moving forward, because music, over time, music blows up even further. And it's all about the algorithm and analytics. How much is your audience enjoying and taking in what you're doing? See, I'm knowledgeable on YouTube because I've been doing it for so long. How much buzz are you creating? How much are you promoting your song? How many plays? How many views? How many subs? How many likes? I know a lot more than I did on YouTube back then because I did a lot of research and a lot of videos I've watched. That's all it comes down to. It comes down to your audience. It comes down to analytics. It comes down to knowing which videos work and what content doesn't work. And it also comes down to you. Like, ultimately, it comes down to you. You're your own worst enemy. So if you start to think you can't do it and you start to lose confidence, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to grow. And that'll show. Like, people going to really start to see that if you, like, half-ass and shit. But if you, like, putting in work and all this and that, people won't start to pick up on, like, hey, I see that. I see you dropped, like, a few days ago, and I see the work you was doing. I see what you did. Like, people will notice that, like, you're trying to take this shit serious, and maybe that'll develop you to get signed. I've never been signed by nobody. I'm not that big yet. I'm not even, well, I got, but I'm not going to talk about it. And the moment that actually happens, that I get big off this music shit, bro, I'll be proud. Like, all I ever wanted to do was to get big off music, but, hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? I just have to keep this going. Keep this KJ and I Anoint squad going. Keep this up. I know I can do this. It's in the blood. I know I can run up this music shit for real if I wanted to. Like, it's just the consistency too. You gotta stay consistent. A lot of rappers, a lot of us, what we do is we tend to drop and then we tend to fade off the face of the earth. What I mean by that is we'll drop a song 3 months in, and then after them 3 months, you won't drop another song for like another 4 months. That's what some rappers do. And that's bad. Like, that's bad. I haven't dropped in 3 months until the last song I just dropped a few days ago. that's even kind of like, damn, we ain't heard from you in 3 months. So anyway, I love you guys. Peace.